Yes, indeed. Indeed.
Goodbye.
So then...
Oh!
Hey. It would seem...
Could it be?
What?
That's right.
What the heck? Huh. See? Look. See how loose it is? I mean, come on. I'm blind as a bat in here. Can't see my feet at all. And not to you totally can't bend at the waist. Seems like a pretty obvious...
That's not a very... I mean, it's not like I made it. I just got caught up in the moment.
Well, either way, now we know for sure, right? I mean, it seems pretty clear that nobody but Hiro could have fit into this dumb costume. Ah. Just a second!
But...
Honestly.
What the heck?
Just the worst. That's terrible!
What?
Just the worst.
So...
Huh? Ah.
Don't be mean!
Just a second!
No way!
Ah.
Please! Ah!
What the heck?
Ah!
Just the worst.
Please!
What are you saying?
What?
Makoto, it would seem... Hey. Correct. Hey. Anyway... So then... I knew it.
So,
In other words... However... Because... Is that right?
are you Monokuma!
Whew.
begin with a basic explanation of the class trial. So, your votes will determine the results. If you can figure out who done it, then only they will receive punishment. But if you then I'll punish everyone besides the Blackhead. Now then.
We already know who did it.
Was that?
It was Hiro. He does not have an alibi for when the murders took place, and we found him in that suit.
Don't try and deny it. You killed them.
I didn't! Someone knocked me out! I was asleep the whole time! I don't know anything about it!
Shut your murdering mouth, murderer!
Who are you calling?
I am sorry to say, Hiro, but we do have blueprints for the suit. Parts we assume were used to build it, and all of it was found in your room. You have to admit, the evidence is it points to you.
I don't know!
Everything we found in your room. The blueprints, the suit parts, they are that you are.
I don't know. It's not true. It's
Hiro, why?
no. Just hold on a second.
Everything we found in your room.
Shoot!
Everything we found in your room. The blueprints, the suit parts, they are all proof enough that you are the culprit.
It's not true. It's
Hiro, why?
no. Just hold on a second.
Everything we found in your room. The blueprints, the suit parts, they are all proof enough that you are the culprit.
It's not true. It's
Hiro, why?
no. Just hold on a second.
Everything we found, the blueprints, the suit parts, they are all that you are the culprit.
It's not true. It's
Hiro, why?
no. Just hold on a second.
Everything we found in your room.
Shoot!
Everything we found in your room. The blueprints, the suit parts, they are all proof enough that you are the culprit.
It's not true. It's
Hiro, why?
no. Just hold on a second.
Everything we found in your room.
Shoot!
Everything we found, the blueprints, the suit parts, they are all proof enough that you are the culprit.
It's not true. It's
Hiro, why?
no. Just hold on a second.
Everything we found, the blueprints, the suit parts, they are all proof enough.
No, that's wrong. Are we sure Hiro really made those blueprints?
What do you mean?
Well, take a look at this. It's the note that Hiro wrote, asking everyone to meet up after Alter Ego disappeared. The handwriting's obviously different, wouldn't you say? When you compare it to the blueprints.
There's no way you could think the same person made both of them.
Unless that person made it a point to disguise their handwriting.
No, the differences are bigger than that, I think.
Come on! I'm not smart enough to think of trying to change my handwriting anyway.
So, Makoto, are you saying you don't think Hiro's the culprit?
And he's not the only one. I think Hiro's innocent as well.
What?
Then who was in that Robo-Justice suit? Is it like Hiro said? Was there really someone running around in a second suit?
The suspicious individual hidden within the suit. Go ahead, Makoto. Tell them who it was.
So, who was in the Robo-Justice suit?
Shoot! Shoot!
is... I refuse to give up yet! Are we sure? Well, it's... I got it! Other than Hiro, I can't think of anyone else it could...
Then there can be no doubt. Hiro...
That doesn't make any sense! You just said Hiro didn't-
It makes perfect sense. Hiro was the suspicious individual in the suit.
So what you're saying is...
That's right. The culprit in this case has nothing to do with being in the Robo-Justice suit.
What?
And what reason do you have to make such a statement? You do have a reason, yes?
Of course. But before we get to that, there's something else we need to clarify first. So let's get that out of the way. All things have a proper order.
So what is it? What needs to be clarified?
We must clarify the method of transportation. Makoto, can you tell...
I got it! I got it! They were a dolly. So, let's see if I can explain. Taka's body disappeared from the equipment room, and then we rediscovered it in the repository. And when we found it for the second time, it was wrapped in a blue tarp, right? It was the same tarp that up until then was stored in the equipment room. So the killer must have seen it there and decided to use it when they moved Taka's body. That way, they wouldn't leave any bloodstains while they were moving it.
Okay, that explains the tarp. And the dolly?
Same thing. I'm sure the dolly was in the equipment room when we first found Taka's body there. But when the body disappeared, so did the dolly. Later, when Taka's body reappeared in the repository, so did the dolly.
In other words, you think they used the dolly to move the body, am I right? But are you sure you are not mistaken?
Huh?
Are you absolutely positive the dolly was in the equipment room when we found Taka's body? That dolly was made specifically for moving large objects between the repository and the art room. It would be very strange indeed to discover it had made its way to the equipment room. Is it not possible that it was in the repository all along, and you simply didn't realize it?
She's raised an objection. How do you
There is no shame in being wrong. Nobody expects much from you anyway. We have all accepted the fact that you rarely understand what is going on. You have it wrong! I cannot agree! You are a fool. So pathetic. Lies will get you nowhere. Do your worst. Away with you! You miserable wretch! I cannot agree! You are a fool. Lies will get you nowhere. Do your worst, you miserable wretch! You have it wrong! I cannot agree! You are a fool. So pathetic. Lies will get you nowhere. Do your worst. Away with you! You miserable wretch! I cannot agree! You are a fool. Lies will get you nowhere. Do your worst, you miserable wretch! You miserable wretch! I cannot agree.
This should prove it. If you're asking for proof that the dolly moved, I have it right. When I found the dolly in the repository, there was a pool of blood in the equipment room with a tire mark in it. The killer probably rolled the dolly through, and as the blood dried on the tire, they moved the body into the repository. So there's my proof that the dolly was used to move.
Well, anyway, that was just something we had to get out of the way. Let's get back to the main subject.
Yeah, the subject of how Robo-Justice didn't do it. Because if it's not what kind of robot is it?
I'm not sure that...
I'd be happy to explain why the occupant of the suit couldn't possibly be the killer. If you look back on how the body was transported, it will become immediately... As we know, Taka was killed in the equipment room. And from there, the body was moved to the repository, correct?
Yeah, the culprit wrapped the body in the tarp, then loaded it onto the dolly and wheeled it off, right?
Now, keep in mind that the dolly doesn't have a handle.
Shoot!
As we know, Taka was killed in the equipment room. And from there, the body was moved to the repository, correct?
Yeah, the culprit wrapped the body in the tarp, then loaded it onto the dolly and...
Now, keep in mind that the dolly...
Well, yeah, all you'd have to do is bend over.
No, that's wrong. You're absolutely right that you could push a dolly without a hand, but if you were wearing that suit, do you think you could actually...
What do you...
Think back to what you said when we were all checking out the suit together. When you're in that suit, not only can you not see your feet, but you can... Am I right about...
Now that you...
It seems like it'd be awfully hard to push that dolly if you...
Well, what's to stop you from simply
When you can't even see your feet? You really think someone could kick the dolly all that way?
Yeah, it'd be totally impossible! Not that I can say for sure.
On top of that, if you were wearing such a rigid, cumbersome suit, it's very unlikely you would have the dexterity to go about wrapping the body in a tarp.
Well, I mean, isn't that just a matter of taking off the suit?
I got it! I don't think taking off the suit was an option.
That's true. It seems impossible to put the suit on or take it off without help.
Then... you really can't take it off by yourself? Hiro wasn't just making it up?
Of course I wasn't making it up.
If he could have gotten it off by himself, I don't think he would have let us see him wearing it. Showing up in the suit was basically an invitation for everyone to suspect it.
Yeah, that's right!
So... it's really, really true that Robo-Justice couldn't have moved the dolly?
To be clear, whoever did move the body, it couldn't have been Hiro in the robot.
No, wait. Just a second, if you please. You all got a good look at it, did you not? The image of if whoever was in that suit is not the culprit. Besides, do you remember what the now deceased So long as those facts exist, the proper conclusion is beyond the individual inside the suit and the culprit are one and the same. It was Hiro. With
Yeah.
Hold on a second!
It's still far too early to reach. Besides, there's no hurry to decide before we rush to a verdict. Shouldn't we explore every single instead of seizing on one viewpoint? The truth is uncovered by analyzing things from every angle.
Perhaps, but where do we go from here?
Let's review this series of unfortunate events from the beginning. Maybe we'll uncover something new.
What a pain!
I don't disagree, but our lives are on the line. If this is what it takes, we have to do it.
Plus, maybe we'll get to find out where the heck Kyoko was when everything went down.
All right then, let's take another look back. I suppose four of us gathered together in the dining hall. We waited there for quite...
And as soon as we
Soon after that, Hina found Celeste in the rec room and quickly came to get
It seems I was unconscious for about an hour after I was attacked by my mystery assailant. I know it was an hour because I remember being attacked a little after 7.
That was when we saw Celeste's picture and discovered that her assailant had been wearing a strange costume. As it turns out, it was Robo-Justice. It also soon became clear that this same Robo-Justice had abducted Hifumi. We were soon joined in our search by Byakuya and Toko, and then went on to find Hifumi. He was injured, so we took him to the nurse's office and resumed our search for the suspect. But not long after leaving the nurse...
When Celeste told us that, we decided to split up and search, and soon after that,
I saw someone moving around on the 3rd floor, and I yelled out.
and then... At that point, we decided to divide up into 2 groups. Celeste, Hina, and I went back to the nurse's office, while Sakura, Byakuya, and Toko chased after the suspect. When we got back to the nurse's office, we found Hifumi, dead. And that's when we heard the body discovery announcement. I left Celeste and Hina there and headed back to the 3rd floor, to let the others know what had happened.
Meanwhile, we had just discovered we must have found both bodies at almost because we heard the same announcement not long.
And that's when I told you guys about. Then the 3 of us headed for the nurse's office. But right after we left the physics, we ran into Celeste, who'd arrived after us. And she told us something very surprising. We rushed back to the nurse's office and saw that she was right.
Then we remembered we'd left Toko passed out in the equipment room, so we hurried back again. But when we got there, we discovered that now Taka's body had also gone missing. Next thing we knew, we were searching the school for 2 missing dead bodies. And after some time...
Celeste informed us that she'd found the bodies, and we all headed to the repository, which is where we rediscovered the corpses.
I think that about covers it.
I see. The whole thing sounds exceptionally complicated. It certainly seems to me that these are not a simple series of connected events.
Okay, well...
Rather than a single series of events, I think we have to consider each murder a separate situation. And from there, we can uncover the contradiction. Now then, let's get started, beginning with what happened to Taka.
So,
I wonder if he died before Hifumi.
or perhaps it was... We already know what order they were killed in. Taka came last,
What makes you say that?
because of the numbering of the justice hammers.
It's true that Hifumi was killed
with justice, while Taka's death.
See? So it's obvious Taka came... So, I wonder if... Or perhaps it was... We already know Taka came
What makes you say...
because of the
Numbering of the justice hammers.
It's true that Hifumi was while Taka's death.
See? So it's obvious Taka came... So, I wonder if... Or perhaps it was... We already know Taka came
What makes you say...
because of the
Numbering of the justice hammers. Shoot!
So, I wonder if... Or perhaps it was... We already
Know what order they were killed in. Shoot!
So, regarding... I wonder if... Or perhaps it was... We already know what order they were... Taka came last.
What makes you say that?
Because of the
It's true that while Taka's death.
See? So it's obvious Taka came... So, I wonder if... Or perhaps it was... We already know what order they were... Taka came last.
What makes you say that?
Because of
The numbering of the justice hammer. No, that's wrong. Hold on. There's no reason to assume that the hammers were used in the same order. If anything, that's just another way the killer tried to disguise.
So you're saying the culprit wanted us to think the hammers were used in order, but in reality, Taka was killed before Hifumi? Okay then, let's see the proof.
I refuse to give up yet. Now I understand. I've got it. Taka's wristwatch. See? Look. It broke with the hands pointing just past 6 o'clock.
It must have gotten broken when he was attacked by the killer. Because as of last night, so if it wasn't broken after 6 last night, then he must have been attacked around 6 this morning.
And that would be his official time of death.
But if that's true, then he was killed well before Hifumi.
And before Celeste was attacked this morning, which happened around 7.
That's right. Taka was killed before any of the other incidents took.
That simple fact slipped past all of. We made the wrong assumption about the order of events, all because of those justice hammers.
That's exactly why the culprit wrote the numbers on each hammer and had them increase in size. That way, when we saw how they were used in each incident, we'd easily make that wrong assumption.
Now, if Taka was killed around 6, then everyone's alibis for his murder go out the window. Because when he was killed, we hadn't met up in the
That may be true in the case of Taka's, but all of our alibis still hold true for Hifumi's death.
That's right. With him, at least... When we heard Hifumi screaming, we were all together. Except for Hiro and Kyoko. Then we all ran down to the nurse's office, and that's where we found his body.
That's totally true. We're all in the clear.
Oh, I know! They must have recorded him screaming on a tape or something, then played it.
If that's true, where's the tape?
I don't know.
Don't just go making
Anyway, we all have rock-solid alibis since all of us were there together.
And it does not stop there. There was also the moment when we discovered his body had disappeared. When his body vanished from the nurse's office, Hina and I were in the bathroom together, while everyone else was in the equipment room, correct? And then there's the disappearance of Taka's body from the... At that time, we were all gathered together in the nurse's office because of Hifumi going missing.
Well, don't forget, I was passed out in the equipment room the whole time.
Wait, then what if Genocide Jill did it? She could have dragged Taka's body out of there right then!
Even if she could pull that off, there's no way she could have done the same with Hifumi's body, because, as we just established, she was passed out in the equipment room.
Besides, I didn't do either of them anyway.
In other words, it is impossible that any of us could have killed Hifumi, or, on the other hand, Hiro and Kyoko had disappeared. So they most certainly could have done those things.
So what?
For now, we can't get fixated on who did it, or we'll just keep going around in circles. So instead of who, I propose we start. In particular, I think we need to figure out how Hifumi's body got moved.
That's true. We searched everywhere, but we couldn't figure out how to explain his body. And according to what Celeste... His body apparently disappeared in the 1 minute her and Hina took their eyes off of it. But to carry that much weight from the first floor up to the third in that short amount of time...
Oh man, yeah! There's no way! It'd be impossible!
Well, what if I told you there was a way to make the...
What?
If the dead body were to move itself?
The dead body
No!
I don't think it has anything to do with the occult. I think we thought Hifumi was dead, but perhaps in reality...
He was...
Are you saying Hifumi wasn't carried out of the nurse's office, but simply walked out on his own?
But I mean, we found his body. He was dead.
Perhaps he was simply playing dead.
That... it isn't...
Are you saying that when we first found Hifumi and there's a chance he was actually still alive?
No.
It is Hifumi was dead, and you know that. Surely you heard the body that
Hifumi's dead body had been found, and that is why the announcement was...
Are we really so sure? Maybe the announcement was intended to signal someone else's discovery.
Are you saying that when we first there's a chance he was...
No. It is Hifumi was dead, and you know that. Surely you heard the body that
Hifumi's dead body had been found. And that is why the
Are we real? Maybe the
announcement was intended to signal someone else's discovery.
Are you saying that when we first there's a chance he...
No. Hifumi was dead, and you know that. Surely you heard the body that
Hifumi's dead body, and that
is why the... Are we real? Maybe the announcement was intended to signal someone else's discovery.
Are you saying that when we first there's a chance he was actually still alive?
Shoot!
Are you saying that when we first there's a chance he...
No. Hifumi was dead, and you know that. Surely you heard the body that Hifumi's dead...
And that is why the announcement was made.
Are we really... Maybe the
announcement was intended to signal someone else's
discovery.
Are you saying that when we first there's a chance he...
No. Hifumi was dead, and you know that. Surely you heard the body that
Hifumi's dead body had been found.
No, that's wrong! Was the body discovery announcement that was made really intended?
Of course it was. The announcement played right after we discovered his body.
Maybe. But that was also the same time that Taka's body was found.
That's right. It wasn't long after finding his body that we heard the announcement.
So there's a good chance we've made a mistake in there somewhere. I think we've confused whether the announcement was for Hifumi or Taka.
First of all, if 2 bodies had been found, there really should have been 2 announcements.
Maybe Monokuma simply got lazy.
What do you say, Monokuma?
Well, it's a very sensitive issue, but what I can say about the body it's only broadcast when 3 or more people find a dead body for the first time.
That didn't answer our question, man. We're asking...
No, actually, that was plenty.
Huh?
He said it's only broadcast when a body is discovered. Even if we find the same body again later, he won't make the announcement again. If that's true, then why was the announcement made again later on?
Huh? Later on?
Exactly. We heard the body discovered. I got it! We heard it a second time in the repository. When it didn't seem weird at the time, but it contradicts what Monokuma just told us, doesn't it?
Exactly. If we were actually rediscovering both bodies, the announcement...
Then in reality, when the 2 dead bodies were rediscovered, being discovered for the first time...
So, when we found Hifumi the first time in the nurse's office, he wasn't actually found dead until we came upon him in the repository.
And that's just part of... There's one other thing that leads me to believe he was still alive in the nurse's office.
Oh, I know! Because he was super good at playing dead!
That is the worst logic, but honestly, I do not think there's anything.
Okay then, let's take another look at the events surrounding the discovery. Then it should become clear whether he was really alive or...
This whole thing is pointless.
Well, here's one thing we do know. The first time we found Hifumi's body, and then, well, his body disappeared.
And the next time we saw his body, it was in the
But when you compare his body other than
The change in how it was positioned, there was no notable difference.
Shoot!
Well, here's one thing. The first time we found Hifumi, and then, his body
And the next time it was in.
But when you compare his body other than the change, there was no...
Notable difference.
Then, was he really still alive?
Of course not. It is impossible.
This is ridiculous. Well, here's one thing. The first time we found him, and then, his body
And the next time it was in.
But when you compare his body other than the change, there was no...
Notable difference.
No, that's wrong! In fact, there was one clear difference between his glasses. That fact alone proves that he was only playing.
Perhaps you'd like to feel the rest of it?
When we found Hifumi in the nurse's office, his glasses were covered with blood. But when we found him again later in the they were spotless. And I found the item he used to... I got it! It was a glasses cleaning cloth featuring a certain... One look at the bloodstain on the cloth should make... This piece of cloth was used to wipe Hifumi's glasses clean. And the mascot on the cloth is the same one that's on the digital camera. And whose digital camera was it?
The character was... Princess Piggles. From Demon...
I highly doubt anyone but Hifumi would have brought something like this to school.
I see your point. And the only people here who wear glasses...
I wouldn't be caught dead using a tacky piece of garbage like that.
A few tissues is all I need to keep my glasses clean.
Then there's no question. It belonged to Hifumi. So what I'm saying is, The blood on his glasses was wiped away using his own glasses clean.
Even if that is true, it does not mean he wiped the blood.
But who would benefit from a clean pair of glasses other than the glasses own?
That's a good point.
Then it must have been him.
So let's assume that Hifumi was still alive and the nurse he pretends to be dead. Then when he's alone, he wipes his glasses clean so he can see. Then he stands up and walks out on his own. And with that, the impossible task of moving his copious corpse becomes possible, wouldn't you say?
But then, if he was just what was with all that blood?
The fridge in the nurse's office contains packs of blood for emergencies.
He figured if he was gonna play dead, he should go all out. So he just dumped it, but he got crazy with it and had to wipe his glasses off when he was done. God, what an idiot!
And if Hifumi was still alive at that point, the disappearance of Taka's body it should be perfectly obvious who must have moved Taka's corpse.
I got it! It could only have been Hifumi.
While we were all gathered in the nurse's office, he went to the equipment room and took Taka.
That also explains how the door to the repository got locked.
The door was locked? Well, after the bodies disappeared, we all went looking for them, right? So me and Sakura headed for the repository. But when we got there...
And the repository door can only be locked, which means when Hina and Sakura got to the repository,
And it could only have been Hifumi, who just finished that.
He convinced us all he was dead, and when he saw his chance, he dragged Taka's body to the So, Hifumi wasn't just another victim in this case. He was one of the...
But that means he took part in the...
If you're having trouble, would you like me to show you one more piece?
There's more.
Oh, absolutely. The single biggest fact pointing to... You know what I'm talking about, right, Makoto?
Shoot! I got it! You're talking about the note Hifumi had hidden away.
Hidden note?
That's right. We found it stuffed in his pants.
What? Pants?
Okay, well, forget about the pants for now. Take a look at what the note says.
Ah! That's the note I was telling you about! The one that told me where to go! Huh? Wait, this one's a little different. In my note it said, Monokuma can't find out, so don't tell anyone else for—
I see. Then this note isn't—
It's not the—
In other words, the killer got in touch with another person besides Hiro, and that person could only have been— I got it! That's right! The killer used this note to draw out Taka and—
Hello? Over here! I don't really understand what's going on, but Hifumi had that letter, right? So whoever wrote it wasn't drawing out TikTok, they were drawing out Happy! Just to be clear. Ugh! Yes! Happy had the note, right? Then the person it was intended for must have been Happy!
But remember what the note said. What time did it say to meet?
6 a.m. The time doesn't matter. The note has nothing to do with TikTok! Happy had the note, then the person it was must have been Happy!
But remember what the note said. What time did it...
6 a.m. The time doesn't matter. The note has nothing to do with TikTok!
Shoot!
But remember what the note said.
What time did it say?
6 a.m. The time doesn't matter. The note has
Nothing to do with TikTok.
Shoot!
Happy had the note, right? Then the person it must have been Happy.
But remember what the note said. What time did it say to
6 a.m. The time doesn't matter. The note has
Nothing to do with TikTok.
Happy had the note. Then the person it must have been Happy.
But remember what the note said. What time did it say to meet?
6 a.m. The time doesn't matter. The note has
Nothing to do with TikTok.
No, that's wrong. No, there absolutely is a connection.
What the hell are you?
The note said to meet at 6 a.m., which is We've already proven that using. But there's more. Look where the note's the equipment room.
Which is where Taka was killed.
So, Taka was murdered at both the time and I think that should be plenty to show that this note was definitely meant for Taka.
Well, when you put it like that. No further objections.
Then someone used that note to trick Taka. Just as the culprit really is a cold-blooded monster. Telling people they'd found a...
But if they gave the note to Taka, what was Hifumi doing with stuff down his pants, no less?
Most likely, Hifumi stole it off Taka's corpse after he died.
Huh?
Where's your proof? Go ahead.
I got it! When I searched Taka's body, I saw that his lifeless hand was gripping a... If I'm right about this, the sheet of paper... I knew it! It fits perfectly with the note we found.
Then Taka's scrap and...
Yup, they're from the same piece of...
Hifumi had the note meant for Taka, while Taka's corpse still grasped a small piece of that note. There's only one way.
Taka died clutching the note. Hifumi tried to free the note from his death, leaving behind only one. Did I get all that right?
That means Hifumi knew the note was important.
Exactly. Which proves that he was an accomplice.
Whoa, yeah. After seeing all this, Hifumi, in fact, he was behind the whole thing!
Sorry, no. When we found him in the repository, the second body discovery announced...
So then...
Whoever did is the master.
He was killed in the repository. So he must have been killed not long after transporting Taka's body.
So, he must have been killed after Taka's body vanished, but before we found both bodies in the repository.
During that time, we'd all split up and were searching for Taka's missing body. In other words, during that time, none of us have alibi.
Wait! But me and Sakura were together. Stop trying to steal the spotlight, you stupid walrus! Who are you calling a
Anyway, when they were killed bothers me, too. But there's something that's...
And what might that?
The weapon they used to kill him.
The weapon?
Yeah, because I mean... The way Taka and Hifumi were killed was almost... But Justice Hammer 3 and 4 were still laying around in the nurse's office unequipped. So if Hifumi was killed in the culprit would have then put the hammer back. But wouldn't that be
I'm surprised. It seems there's some semblance of a brain knocking around that skull of...
Hell yeah, it's packed in...
The Monokuma file makes it clear that they were killed using similar but if the hammers were already laying around those...
So the question is, how could the culprit have gotten their hands on either of the hammers? Personally, I haven't a clue.
So which hammer was used to attack Celeste? Number 1 or number 2?
Those were accounted for in other rooms too. And I don't think either one is big enough to kill someone.
Is it not possible they used a different weapon?
I don't think it is possible.
So... What was used to kill Hifumi? Was it Justice Hammer 3? Maybe Justice Hammer...
Well, there's one. How was the culprit? How did nobody... Sounds like a Justice Hammer 5 is about to make its appearance! Check out murdergear.com/hammertime for more info!
Shoot!
What was used to kill Hifumi? Was it Justice Hammer 3?
Shoot!
What was used? Was it just maybe justice?
Well, there's one. How was the culprit? How did nobody... Sounds like a justice... Check out Murder Gear.
Well, one thing, the murder weapon had to be one of the Justice Hammer.
No, that's wrong. The murder weapon wasn't a justice hammer at all.
But, seriously?
Specifically, a hammer from the repository. Now, all the hammers in the repository were covered in flex, but for some reason, one of them had been scrubbed clean.
Huh?
And the reason it had been scrubbed clean was most likely because it was used to commit. If the hammer got covered in Hifumi's blood, of course. I'd also like to point out that the repository has all kinds of hammers. Big ones, and even some flat, mallet-like ones. I think whoever made the justice hammers used those as a base.
If that's true, that would explain the Monokuma file's note about the wounds being similar.
So Hifumi moved Taka's body to the repository, where someone then used a hammer to kill him.
And whoever did that is the true killer. The one Hifumi was working with.
Hold on a moment. I still think it's strange to assume someone was working together with him. The way the graduation rule works, there is no benefit to helping someone else carry out a murder. So the idea that anyone would work together like that is simply ludicrous. We talked about this. Based on the rules that have been laid out for us, even if more than one person is complicit in the murder, only the one who actually carried out the act can graduate and serve. Assuming the rule holds true, it is simply impossible that two people work together.
That is.
But that only really applies in this case.
However, there were 2 murders.
Based on the rules that have been laid,
Even if more than one, only the one who actually...
assuming the rule holds true, it is simply impossible that 2 people work together on it.
That is.
But that only really... in this case.
However, there were 2 murders.
Based on the rules that even if more than one, only the one who actually...
assuming the rule holds true, it is simply impossible that 2 people work...
That is.
But that only really applies in this case.
However, there were 2 murders.
Based on the rules, even if more than one, only the one who actually... assuming the rule holds true.
That is.
But that only really... in this
Case, however, there were 2 murders.
Based on the rules that even if more than one, only the one who actually...
assuming the rule holds true, it is simply impossible that...
That is.
But that only really... in this
Case, however, there were 2 murders.
Based on the rules, even if more than one, only the one who actually...
assuming the rule holds true, it is simply impossible.
That is.
But that only really... in this
Case, however, there were 2 murders.
Based on the rules, even if more than one, only the one who actually...
assuming the rule holds true, it is simply impossible.
That is how the rule...
But that only really applies if there's 1 murder, right? In this case, however, there were 2 murders.
Shoot! I refuse to give up yet!
Based on the rules, even if more than one, only the one who actually... assuming the rule...
holds true. It is simply impossible that...
Shoot!
Based on the rules, even if more than one, only the one who actually... assuming the rule holds true.
That is.
But that only really... in this case...
However, there were 2 murders.
Based on the rules, even if more than one, only the one who actually... assuming the rule holds true.
That is.
But that only really... in this
Case, however, there were 2 murders.
Based on the rules that even if more than one, only the one who actually, assuming the rule holds true.
That is.
But that only really in this
case, however, there were 2 murders.
Shoot!
Based on the rules that have even if more than one, only the one who actually, assuming the rule holds true.
That is.
But that only really in this
case, however, there were 2 murders.
Based on the rules, even if more than one, only the one who actually, assuming the rule holds true.
No, that's wrong! Since there were 2 murders, it's at least plausible that more than one person was involved.
What do you mean?
If there'd only been one murder, then yes, the idea of an accomplice isn't really worth considering. Naturally, if only one person can be saved per murder, an accomplice has no risk versus reward benefit.
Risk versus reward?
The payoff for working together. The reward that balances out the risk of taking part in the scheme. There's no point in being someone's accomplice if there's no benefit to you. However, if there were some potential mutual reward for the risk, then cooperation becomes...
You're saying that 2 people could act as each other's accomplices to commit 2 separate murders.
I think that's what the true killer told Hifumi. They would each have an accomplice for their crime. And based on the case's events, Hifumi would have been the first one to act, murdering Taka. They made him carry out the first murder so he couldn't back out of helping them later.
So in this case, there wasn't one single person committing multiple. Instead, each person killed someone, creating and it only looked like one person because that's how the true killer designed it. A single suspicious individual, a similar weapon used in each crime. Just by creating one seamless set of circumstances, they made it look like one person was...
The mastermind picked their target and managed to convince him to go along with their plan. And then, to avoid the no accomplices rule, they simply killed their accomplice. Which, if true, means that betraying Hifumi was part of the plan from the very beginning.
That's just awful! How could anyone be...
You think so? I can't help but admire its cunning. Still, their choice of accomplice seems...
I understand how an accomplice could be involved, but then who was the one pulling Hifumi's strings?
That's problem numero uno right now!
Here's my answer! It was Celeste.
So I'm the suspicious... I really do hate this kind of joke.
A joke?
So what you are saying, then, is that the idea that I would choose to spend any amount of time interacting with him, that I would go within 10 feet of that shit for brains, that lazy, worthless, goddamn idiot! Pardonnez-moi.
Just to be clear, there is evidence to support it.
Is that so?
It is. Throughout the investigation, there was certain behavior that was common only to the 2 of you. Considering what we've learned so far, it only further proves that the 2 of you were working together.
Shoot! I got it! The behavior they had in common has to do with the suspicious individual and the only ones who ever actually saw Robo-Justice firsthand were Celeste and
Shush! The adults are talking now.
Sorry.
As he said, only Celeste and Hifumi. If we accept that Hifumi was one of the culprits, we can't help but suspect what Celeste has said as well.
Are you saying
everything they told us?
After taking Hifumi to the nurse's office, we all began our search for this individual, correct? And not too long after that, do you remember? We headed to the second floor specifically because next, to draw us all to the physics.
She let out a blood curl.
And when we'd all come to see what was wrong, what was it? Once she'd done her job of getting us all up to the physics lab, it was time for her partner to get to work.
It was to get us to divide into 2 groups, so that we would discover.
In fact, Celeste was precisely the one who proposed that we split up. Well, if Celeste and Hifumi were working together, all those chance events suddenly become connected. And on top of that, that piercing cry of yours early on. That was to signal Hifumi, wasn't it? It was your way of telling him, we're on the 3rd floor, everything's going according to plan. Why else would you let out a scream that could have carried across the
I just realized when we found Hifumi in the nurse's office, who we now know was only pretending. Celeste, you were the first. You wanted to make sure we wouldn't have any doubt in our minds.
I don't believe it!
Hina, you were with Celeste when Hifumi's body disappeared, right?
Yeah. I was feeling kinda sick, so Celeste took me to the bathroom. Wait! Then that was...
She wasn't worried about you. She just saw a chance to help Hifumi sneak out.
Each piece isn't much by itself, but start putting them together and the picture gets very... Wouldn't you agree, Celeste?
I have no idea what you mean.
Don't bother trying to deny it. You made one fatal...
Oh, did I?
I didn't even catch it myself when you first said it. Looking back, I can say that one little slip-up... I'm talking about what you said after Hifumi's body disappeared and we...
I remember her saying that too, but...
Then pay attention. Sakura, Toko, and I were first to discover. Then Makoto showed up and told us Hifumi had been killed. So Sakura and I, once we were in the hall, we ran into Celeste, and the 4 of us headed to the nurse's office. Now, the entire time we were together, none of us said anything about Taka. Think about it. Celeste's comment doesn't make sense. It was completely out of place.
Yeah, I see what you're talking about.
Oh, you hear that, Celeste? Everyone's having some trouble understanding. Could you repeat what you... If you're really not the culprit, you shouldn't have any problem repeating it, right?
All I said was... They must really be enjoying the sight of us standing around. They must be... We are all going to die here. We are going to die. Just like those guys. And that is all I said.
And that's all it
Takes to... What was so strange about Celeste's comment?
All I said, they must really be enjoying the sight of us standing around, frightened and confused. They must be positively. We are all going to die here. We are going to die.
Just like...
And that is...
And that's all it takes.
What was so strange about Celeste's comment?
said they must really enjoying the sight of us. They must be. We are going to die.
Just like those.
No, that's wrong. That's right. There's no reason Celeste should have said, just like those guys died. When she said that, none of us had told her Taka was dead.
Exactly. And we didn't run into her until after we were all out, so there was never any chance for her to have seen his body in the equipment room.
So how did you know, Celeste? How did you know more than one person had been killed? And how did you know they were both guys? Because Kyoko had also disappeared, right? So she could have been dead too.
You all have such vivid imaginations.
Imaginations?
You claim that I was lying when I told you about the suspicious. Then what about the picture I took? How do you explain this picture of the costumed villain?
It has to be some kind of... So let's put the suit on. And then she used the camera.
Have you so quickly forgotten? You are the only. Plus, I happen to know that this particular. In other words, it is an unassailable fact that this is a picture of. If everything I told you was a lie.
Simple. Are we sure that's really a picture of the...
What could you possibly mean by that?
Surely there are other explanations than the one...
No, there is no...
I got it! It's not a picture of the suspect dragging Hifumi away. I would say it's a picture of Hifumi dragging the suspect away.
That's certainly within the realm of possibility. The one being dragged off in that picture isn't Hifumi, but the person in the robot suit. We've simply been led to believe that it's the other way around. And the strange costume might only exist to lead us astray. If you saw someone wearing something like that in this situation, of course you'd notice and be suspicious.
That's what happened! You put me to sleep and made me out to be the bad guy in all this!
Is utterly impossible. Hifumi was dragging him away?
Is it? I don't think it's ridiculous at all.
Then shut your mouth and allow me to educate you.
You dressed me up in... Then you just draped me across Hifumi and had him... You tried to make me look like the bad guy!
Like I said, as you can see in the picture, if the person
Inside the suit, there's no way they could stand up straight like that.
then the fortune-telling idiot is the culprit after.
No way!
You dressed me up in that... Then you just draped me... You tried to make me look...
Like I said, as you can see in the picture, if the person inside the... There's no
way they could stand up...
No, that's wrong! No. Even if the person inside the suit were unconscious, because that Robo-Justice suit had a...
That's right! They totally made a mistake when they made it.
I'm not so sure that what I think the suit was designed from the beginning to be used the way it was.
Celeste and Hifumi took the suit they'd specially designed and stuffed Hiro into it. That's how they were able to fake that whole thing. The point of it all was to make us believe whoever was in the suit was to...
Well then, I suppose this is checkmate.
Checkmate?
Don't make me laugh, you idiot! What do you mean? Clearly, you want to cram me into your little guilty box. Well, there's one.
Have you already forgotten what...
When we asked him who had attacked him. His answer was quite clear, was it not? He said, in other words, Yasuhiro.
Wait! But my name isn't really Yasuhiro! It's actually Taro!
Your confusing statements don't make any sense.
He did say Yasuhiro, but are we sure he was really
What the hell are you talking?
Kyoko, what do you mean by that?
Think back to how Hifumi used to talk. How did he refer to each of us?
Shoot!
Think back. How did he refer to each of us?
Shoot!
Think back. How did he refer to each of us?
I got it! That's right! Our last names!
Exactly. I know I heard him say Mr. Naegi more than once, for example. So if Hifumi did mean to say Hiro's name, he would have said his last name, Hagaku.
I'm sure it was just incidental. Indecent?
Don't talk.
Random chance. Now No. There's no reason to think, but he must have run out of energy before he could say.
So Hifumi was trying to tell us the last.
But the name he said doesn't apply to anyone he.
Well, no. Hold on. And that's Celeste. She never actually told us.
To think you'd take your false. Come on! Enough with your idiotic blather. Yasuhiro. Well? What? I think.
Okay, then fill us in.
Fine. Make sure my real name is Celestia Ludenberg. Could you please stop?
Hifumi was trying to tell us something.
He wanted us
To know the killer's last name.
If there's one person.
It would have to be you, Celeste.
How many times? Celestia Ludenberg!
How long do you plan to go?
I'm not pretending. And since you have no way to contradict, that's the only truth there is! Moron!
Hifumi was.
He wanted us
To know the killer's last name. Yasuhiro.
Shoot!
Hifumi was. He wanted us to know the killer. If there's one person.
It would have to be you, Celeste.
How many times? Celestia Ludenberg!
How long do you plan?
I'm not pretending. And since.
You have no way to
No, that's wrong! That's it! The handbook!